Okay, so y'all, I fall asleep very early. A lot of times I'll take a shower, I'll fall asleep, and then I'll wake up and then really get into bed. Well, before I fell asleep the first time, I saw this post and I was like, I want to read this, but I'm too tired to keep my eyes open. And by the time I woke up to like really go to bed, she had deleted the post, but I had the post still open to the page, so I was able to get the screenshots. She literally deleted it 6 hours after posting it. It says, I'm a stay at home mom and husband lost all of our money in stocks. She says, well, where do I begin? I've been with my husband for over 10 years. We have young children. I've been a stay at home mom since becoming pregnant with our first child. My husband's always been an entrepreneur, owned multiple businesses in the same industry for over a decade. He's done well. We've lived a comfortable life with me not contributing financially. During the pandemic, business slowed and he decided to get into day trading for fun. Nothing major, just a quick win here or there. But then he became obsessed. It was sort of like gambling. With his business taking a hit due to lockdowns, he became what I think desperate. He started reading about success stories and believed he could be one. I believed in him, told him to follow his dreams because I knew we had security in the established business with our indulgent lifestyle. We have a traditional relationship, my choice. I raise our kids and take care of the home. He provides financially, but he always went above and beyond, incredible father, always helped around the house without me ever asking. I frequently got spa days at his request to relax from mom duties. He'd always brag to his very close friends about his successful day trading days and how they should start too. I was proud of him and never once worried. He was confident, generous with money, always financially helped people. I was so proud of him until one day he's visibly angry, tells me we're spending too much money and not to get anything we don't need. I was a bit confused because while we lived a very comfortable lifestyle, I never splurged on myself. I grew up kind of poor, so I've always been afraid of spending money on myself, although I liked fancy things. He would beg me to buy something since I wouldn't buy it for myself. I never booked a spa day for myself. He did it for me. He had the bigger closets with tens of thousands of dollars worth of clothes and shoes and watches, while I'd wear the same couple of pairs of shoes and buy most of my clothes from Amazon. Rarely I bought something expensive for myself. I did, however, always keep our home stocked with food, bought the kids anything they wanted, and the cost of living was high compared to other parts of the country. So I was a bit taken aback. Not too long after that, he's pacing back and forth, visibly panicking, takes me into the bathroom to talk while our kids play in the other room. He says, we don't have any money left. Confused, I said, what? He says, I don't have money to pay rent this month. I said, what the F do you mean? Just the other day, you were talking about how good you are at trading. Well, come to find out, he was actually losing money. While he had some good days, he actually ended up losing, y'all listen to this, $300,000. And we're living off savings instead of money I thought he was making, and that he's neglected his legitimate businesses to follow this dream. I was in shock. My mind went blank, but because I've grown up with such little, I immediately went into survival mode. I started giving him immediate solutions to make money. I didn't give myself time to feel the betrayal and anger towards him. All I thought about was our children and how I can fix this for them. Within weeks, we had to move out and move into a place I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, but I'm grateful to still have a roof over our heads. I told him to get a job if he cannot grow his business back. He promised me he can fix it and to give him a chance. As a stay at home mom for several years, no family nearby, I couldn't leave him. Where would I go? How could I work? How could I suddenly leave my children in the care of strangers when I've sacrificed so much to care for them 24/7? And how unfair would it be to my children who adore their father to one day live in a split home? They don't deserve that. So I'm so effing angry. Mentally, I began to spiral. On top of that, I was far too embarrassed to tell a single soul, including my parents. Fast forward a year later, he hasn't gotten a job or grown his businesses. Instead, he lost another $30,000 or more in loans from trading. We are barely living paycheck to paycheck. Some weeks we barely have enough for groceries. I'm constantly angry, stressed. I feel like the worst kind of mother to my children because of who I've become. I once used to chat up a storm with other parents at playgrounds, set up play dates, take care of myself physically and mentally. I've gained 50 pounds but barely eat. I'm depressed, full of rage, and hide at home. I've been living a lie to the friends I used to see daily at parks. I'm pretending to be fine to everyone, but inside I'm destroyed. I've come from nothing, had a job ever since I was 15. As an adult, I hustled, worked multiple jobs to live a good life on my own before I met my husband. If I had lost a job, I got hired the next day at a new one, worked till the day I became hospitalized during pregnancy. I can't fathom being a man with with a wife and children, lying about making an income, living off savings and loans, losing everything, and still not getting multiple jobs to dig myself out of this deep hole. I would literally do drugs to stay awake 24/7 to work if I knew my children are at risk of being homeless. Because we now obviously cannot afford childcare, I still can't work outside of the home. My husband still works 9 to 5 running his businesses that's somehow still standing, but only makes money to cover the loan debt. Oh my goodness. Y'all. And he's still day trading. He's still doing this. This is an addiction at this point. Okay. I don't know what to do. How can I even get a remote job when I haven't worked in almost 7 years? But I'm coming to a realization that my once successful, highly respected businessman of a husband has completely fallen off the face of reality. And there is no chance we will ever get out of this situation if I solely rely on him. We went from riches to rags, literally. My clothes are falling off, starting in the 10-year-old washing machine we have access to. I guess maybe falling apart. But honestly, I don't care about me. I'm so angry for our innocent kids. I don't want them growing up the way I did with parents who were so financially stressed at all times. I know this post is all over the place. I'm sure a lot of grammar error, well, maybe grammatical errors. I'm PMSing, and it's been 1 year since my life exploded, and nothing has changed for the better. Maybe I'm venting or just need advice. I'm just so angry. I'm furious. I'm sad for my children. I'm embarrassed. I hate myself for still not hating my husband and believing he can redeem himself. I talk a lot about being cautious and using these as cautionary tales, how being a stay-at-home mom has risk, how you should be able to survive regardless of marital status. And people come at me like I'm on being married or having kids or being a traditional wife and all that when I'm not. You need to be able to survive regardless of if that money leaves your home, because it's not always that the man leaves or divorces or trades her in. Sometimes things like this can happen. This is an addiction that has taken money out of their home, and now she is having to try to figure out how she's going to feed her kids. You need to be able to survive, and if you're not pressed about doing it for yourself, you should be worried about doing it for your kid. Okay, then Whitey Leaf says, what did I just read? Wow. OP, after losing $300,000, he spent the last year losing an additional $30K by the same behavior. He needs serious help with this behavior from a therapy perspective, but you need to consider the future for you and your children. If you can get childcare to work yourself, to get you guys above water, that could work. He's on track to file bankruptcy. Now, I do believe that this is the OP talking. This is deleted because her account is now deleted. But Little Wild Finch says, time to move in with someone for daycare and do deliveries. You can definitely get hired in school districts, crossing guards, kitchen staff, etc. I would not trust this man without safety, with your safety and future. This is a cautionary tale. This is like flashing lights to remind women to be able to survive and thrive if ever something happens. Be able to survive regardless of marital status and if your man loses his job or whatnot. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I found this discussion post in the Black Ladies subreddit. She says, regarding buying drinks and sociability, she says, yesterday, a user made a post about buying another group of Black women drinks and trying to socialize. The group was not receptive. The post was concluded with the group in question being categorized as mean girls. I just wanted to reinforce to everyone that we are not entitled to anyone's time, money, energy, or presence. It doesn't matter if we're both Black. It doesn't matter if the person in question is a lone woman. I saw this referenced a lot as a reason why the group should have been receptive. It doesn't matter if you really wanted to vibe with them. Black women, we are allowed to say no if we feel uncomfortable, irritable, unsure, anxious, introverted. With someone's presence, you can say no. It doesn't matter if they are Black. It doesn't matter if they are a lone female. You don't have to hang out with someone if you don't want to. It doesn't make you a mean girl or cliquey or rude. It makes you a person with boundaries. One thing OP was sure to make a distinction with when people rightfully pointed out the same behavior from a man would have been unacceptable is that they are not a man. This is true. You don't have to be a man to commit crimes. Many traffickers actually recruit women for the express purpose of lulling other women into a false sense of security. You don't have to be a man to invade someone's space. You don't have to be a man to be pushy. Women commit crimes. Women can be pushy. Women can be creepy. Being a woman doesn't give you a pass. If you paint an entire group of women as problematic simply because they don't want to hang out with you, you are the problem. I like this part, and I just want to say it again. I just wanted to reinforce to everyone that we are not entitled to anyone's time, money, energy, or presence. This is true across the board. You have the right to say no. You have the right to feel uncomfortable. If someone is being what you perceive as weird, you do not have to allow them in. They can ask and you can answer. We are not like, you don't have to be just nice to any and every one. That's such a weird thing to do. But I'm glad that she started this discussion. Definitely, let's check out some of the comments. So I didn't see the original post. I did do some searching. I didn't find it. But some of the comments allow for a bigger picture. Bree Magic says that post and many of the comments, including from the OP, were condescending and presumptuous, egregiously so. Respect people's autonomy, please. And then Kitchen Honeydew says, I agree. I am also a very social Black woman, always talking to strangers and making new acquaintances. However, I was very confused by the sentiments expressed in yesterday's post. When I read that post, it sounded like the OP accosted a private table of women in a private conversation, randomly offered to buy drinks as part of the intro, and then got offended that the women didn't immediately become her sister girls. The interaction sounded weird and creepy. I think the OP needs to learn how to read the room. Everybody isn't trying to make new friends, regardless of gender, race, or socioeconomic status. Late Champion says, yeah, I commented in that thread. OP tried to portray herself as having good intentions, but her other comments actually showed a more self-centered personality. Like, why the F wouldn't a bunch of Black women accept drinks from a rando? After all, she's Black too, and therefore safe. Historical ad says, right. And then tried to say they weren't used to kindness. But I was trying to find this kindness that the OP was showing the group of women. All I gathered was entitlement, crossing of boundaries, and actually anti-Black projection when she jumped to call them mean girls. Cicero says, I feel you on using being a woman as an excuse. I was at a parade and a woman I've never seen before just grabbed my butt. I turned around shocked and she goes, oh, it's just me. Like that's supposed to make it better. Being a woman is not an excuse to act creepily towards other women. And Supermarket After says, same. I had some random woman caress my hair in the club and I moved the F away from her. Entertainer Careful says, I absolutely agree. I sort of felt like a villain when I saw the other posts because I was thinking, why would you randomly approach a couple of Black women just like that? It doesn't matter if your intentions were pure, all or not, maybe or not. They are not reciprocating, doesn't make them mean girls. And to be honest, I'd do the same thing if a random person came up to me. Historical OK says, I was thinking about how some just want to have a moment with their friends. What if they were talking about something serious? And then Butterfly Blue Sky says, that was my initial thought. I thought of scenarios that range from wanting to talk about something serious, like current relationship drama, to mourning a loss of a loved one recently. And of course, just maybe wanting to be with their friends only. The fact that the OP just assumed they were mean and assumed they missed out was crazy to me. So this is the last screenshot I took. This person says, I'm so tired of the mean girl energy accusations that people love to throw around. And it's usually to a woman who either has boundaries and sticks to them, or to a woman who isn't naturally bubbly and receptive to social interaction. And then TC88 says, I keep seeing those kinds of posts pop up. If another black woman doesn't smile back or immediately wants to be friends, it doesn't mean she's a mean girl or hates other Black people. If a man reacted like that to unwanted advances, we'd be calling him entitled. This person responds with, I grew up with this. I'm very shy and awkward. That usually means that I'm not quick to jump into friendships or conversations. And people have always thought I was stuck up. I love having fun with people, but getting there takes me a while. I just thought that this was an interesting conversation to have. People can have boundaries. Just because you want to talk or interact or party or buy drinks or join a conversation doesn't mean that the person next to you has to reciprocate. We try to teach, we got to teach boundaries to children, and obviously now we need to teach boundaries to adults. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I found this in the Bumble subreddit. She says, he ghosted me after a perfect date. She says, we matched. He was in town for 2 days for some work and was free for the next evening. He asked, do I want to grab coffee? And we decided a place to meet up. Unfortunately, it was closed as we reached the spot. He was slightly late, so I had to wait for some time. Then we walked and reached another coffee shop and had coffee and great conversation. We had so much in common. He was really cute and warm and really fun to hang out with. We talked for almost 2 to 3 hours. While leaving, my cab was waiting nearby, and he wouldn't let go of my hand. We hugged and kissed a bit, but he was still trying to hold me back shyly. We said our goodbyes and I left. He went back to his hotel. We texted afterwards and he said he really enjoyed the date and next time we'd go out for dinner. Next thing I do is share my number with him in case he wants to text me if I delete my account when bored. He says he'll get back and text me from his personal number. Fast forward 3 days, no text. Literally radio silence. He deleted his account and I never got the text. The comments tell the story. That's the reason why social media is so important. This person, Zanope, says, he is married, haha. And she's like, oh no. And then No Cod says, married men are always easy to fall for. It's crazy that we single guys can't even compare. And Miss Miria says, married men play a good game at being attentive, interested, and engaging. It's because they're bored as F at home and are seeking an ego boost elsewhere. Distinct Classic was wondering, but then why do they stay married? And GM Burns says, kids, financial obligations, sometimes it's cheaper to keep her. But also, it's easier on your energy level to keep a wife because she's the one that's typically at home doing all of the things, washing, doing the cooking, keeping the household running, handling kid stuff. So it's easier to cheat when you have a married woman. You have a wife at home because she's the one that is expending the energy and then he can use up his energy and go do what he wants to do. Now, Revolutionary Act says, there's that, but they also made a vow. But typically in that vow, they're supposed to be vowing to stay monogamous to each other if they're in a monogamous situation. And going out on dates, I suspect would break that vow. Mobile Rush says, nah, I don't think this matters given they also vowed to stay faithful and in this case, and didn't in this case. That's my point. That's my exact point. Revolutionary Act says, why make a vow if you're not going to keep it? I don't know, but people do it all the time. Okay, now watch this exchange. Airplane says, I'm sure quite a few of the women I dated could have written this same post. I'm very charming and sweet. And if I had no interest in someone after a date, they'd had no idea at all. I don't have the heart to let anyone down. I know it sucks. And then the OP says, but I'd love to know if he wasn't interested. All I need is a, hey, had a great time, but I don't think it's for me. Isn't that simple? And then Airplane says, I completely agree with you. Your post kind of hit me hard hearing it from the other side. I thought I was being wonderful by not hurting anyone and then just vaporizing. I figured if I was very nice, it was not that bad. But yeah, totally see how it could be really confusing and hurtful. I'm sorry this happened to you. And yes, I definitely think he owed you the courtesy of honesty. I don't think he's going to be texting you a month from now. Even if I personally changed my mind and wanted to be back in touch, I'd feel too guilty for ghosting someone. I don't know why these people just can't have honest adult conversation and communication. Why is it so hard to be honest with people? Why do they avoid conversation? These most logical leaders. Okay, after that, I just wanted to leave you guys with something that I found a little funny. Maybe you'll chuckle. Um, this picture of Jesus playing a guitar with the American flag in the background and an eagle holding an American flag. And then it says, Jesus loves this. There's nothing more American. And that is in response to Russell Brand having a breakthrough with Tucker Carlson, of all people, saying, my life has changed. Praise Jesus. And then this person snarkily said, Jesus was a great American who literally wrote the Bible, and he would be moved to tears by this authentic scene. The haters will never understand that. Yes, the haters will never understand that. But because of this, we got that wonderful picture, that authentic picture of Jesus playing a guitar. And that really hit me in the feels. Take this picture and be at peace. Be at peace knowing that you can. Oh my goodness, is that Russell Brand? That must be Russell Brand's family member. He's in the long line of lineage of Jesus people. All right, y'all, take this picture and enjoy it. Hopefully it made you smile as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.